Hi, I'm Alyssa, and Tiffany and I are advocating to abolish the death penalty. So Roman's first claim was that with the death penalty, money can be saved, but my first significance claim is that without the death penalty, more money can be saved. According to Paula Mitchell, who's a professor at Loyola Law School, the cost of the entire death penalty system since 1978 is about $5 billion. This is from the LA Times in 2016. Also, a more specific case is in Florida, it costs $51 million a year, above what it would cost to punish all first-degree murderers with life in prison without parole. This is from Death Penalty Info in 2019. Roman then also says that the death penalty scares people into pleading guilty, and this can avoid the cost of the death penalty. But if we get rid of the death penalty, we can avoid all costs. Tiffany also mentioned that people are on death row for a long time, and since they are on death row for a long time, it would be cheaper just to get rid of it and to give them a life sentence. According to CNN in 2019, 25 people were executed in the United States in 2018, and the number of death sentences was 42. And in 2013, death row had grown from 2,979 inmates, which is a 2,174% increase from what it was in 1953. And the average time on death row more than doubled from 6 years to 15 years on average. This is from Death Penalty Pro-Con in 2015. Roman's second significance claim is that the death penalty can be used as a deterrent for possible crimes. According to Amnesty.org in 2018, this claim has been repeatedly discredited. There is no evidence that the death penalty is more effective in reducing crime than imprisonment. And Roman also says that publicizing these crimes, making them obvious, will scare potential killers from doing any murderous things, any death penalty-worthy things. But in fact, it can also do the opposite. In some cases, it can create copycats, like the Zodiac killer's copycat, Herberto Silva. He modeled his crimes on the actions of the Zodiac killer because he admired him for never getting caught. This is from History Collection, 2017. My second significance claim is that countries with strict governments also have the death penalty. Countries like China, India, the United States, Indonesia, Pakistan, etc., they all have it, according to BBC 2018. China remains the world's top executioner, according to Amnesty.org 2018. The use of the death penalty in China is unknown, as this data is classified as a state secret. So do we really want to be associated with a country that keeps its body count hidden from its people? My next significance claim is that the government doesn't consider the public's opinion. According to Gallup.com, 2018, 49% of Americans said they believe the death penalty was applied fairly, which means that 50% of Americans disagreed with that. And if we are a democratic Republican country, why does the majority not have a say? Why do people not agree with it, yet we still have it? My first adherency claim is that it doesn't relieve victims. It actually elongates the strain on victims' family, and it doesn't guarantee closure. According to Psychology Today 2016, one University of Minnesota study found that just 2.5% of victims achieved closure as a result of the death penalty, while 20.1% said the execution did not help them heal. And according to the same article, victims had improved physical and psychological health and greater satisfaction when the legal system in cases where the perpetrator received life sentences rather than death sentences. So then Roman moves on to say that lethal injections are humane, clean, and safe. They're a safe way to kill. But according to Amnesty USA from 2012, there have been dozens of botched executions, like Tiffany mentioned before. There's been reactions where people have spasm, coughing, moans, extreme pain, and even the execution personnel have difficulties finding suitable veins. And in one case, in Arizona, executioners had to cut into the leg artery of a prisoner in order to insert the needles. My second inherency claim is that the death penalty is hypocritical. So according to Amnesty USA 2012, we're killing with drugs and medical professionals who are supposed to heal while pretending that this deliberate act of violence is peaceful. Also from the same article, this is just a subset of the death penalty's grand hypocrisy, calling for death in order to show our reverence for life. This makes it seem like we're an eye for eye type of government. Is the government allowed to decide who we can keep alive and who we can kill? So then before I move on to the solvency claims, I wanted to state that Roman didn't refute Tiffany's discrimination claim, and that the evidence that he provided didn't have any dates, and if they did, they're many years old, which can make his claim seem unreliable and weaken his entire reputation. So moving on to his solvency claim, he wants to continue the death penalty in order to reduce the number of committed crimes like murder and homicide. But according to the Washington Post in 2016, despite extensive research on the question, criminologists have been unable to assemble a strong case that capital punishment deters. And in 2016, states with the death penalty have a 5.63% murder rate, while states without the death penalty have a 4.49% murder rate. And my solvency claim, or our solvency claim, is that we should abolish the death penalty. If we get rid of the direct resources towards death row, we can focus on prison improvements, because the number one problem in prisons right now is overcrowding, according to Penal Reform International 2012. Apparently 22 national prison systems hold more than double their capacity, but they've made programs and steps called the 10-point plan, which can address prison overpopulation, and they have already started implementing this. So this is why we should abolish the death penalty. Thank you.